Hi guys, and welcome to my new video. This is a healing guide for Botanist fight from a perspective of Restoration Druid. I was thinking of doing this video in a little different way. I'll be just basically doing a healer commentary, and hopefully it'll be helpful. But before we start, I guess we should look at some of the best talents that Restoration Druids should use for this fight. In this fight you can basically have two options. You can either use Spring Blossoms, if you feel your guild has a lot of melee, it can work really well, or you can use Inner Peace, which basically reduces your tranquility, and you can actually get a lot of tranquilities out in this fight because it is around 8 to 9 minute fight. So it's all about control, and the damage is very predictable, and like after a couple of tries you'll know exactly where the damage is coming from. And I think the only hard part is when you actually get to Solarist phase, which is the very end of the fight, which is the only hard bit. In this video we actually killed Naturalist first, Arcanist second, and Solarist last. So in this fight I actually use Spring Blossoms, so you see me using the mushroom quite often. So let's just begin by playing the video. So in here at the very start, I would give my advice would be actually to use innervates quite early in the fight, because you should get around 3 innervates if possible because of the length of the fight. So you can see me here basically just doing a bit of damage to the Naturalist because there really isn't a lot of damage coming in. The spores spawn there, just make sure you don't hit them. The ads are there. You can always try and use Ursoc Vortex for the ads. I think you can get Ursoc Vortex on every second ad spawn. So this is the controlled chaos spawning here. It gives you 2 ticks. The second tick you can see right here is where it does the most damage. Wild Growth is actually working really well there. The main thing here is that it's random, it spawns on a random target. Sometimes you have to move, sometimes you don't. You can always cast your rejuvenations, and I already used my innervate for that part. So my innervate is actually on cooldown. One of the best ways to actually do innervate is to use Wild Growth followed by loads of rejuvenations as much as possible. So you can see here we actually got solar collapse and plasma damage, and I actually use my tranquility here. And then here you can see the swirly rings of death. I actually use my displacer beast just in case. And the person I'm hugging here is the person who has Call of Night debuff. So I always try to you always have to try to make sure to be within the range of a person with Call of Night, because if you out of the range, it does raid wide AoE. So you can see here again, control chaos spawns, and you just have to make sure you run and you follow the person. This kind of these kind of unlucky spawns can actually cause raid wipes. If a person, let's say, goes without you, you have to follow him. So you can see here again plasma spheres. The first one I use tranquility, so I don't have tranquility here. You can use Wild Growth followed by Essence and followed by Flourish. It has 3 ticks, so it really depends. The damage is the same for all of them, but sometimes like Call of Night spawns there, and then you get your plasma sphere going off, so you might have more damage at those phases. It really depends on what kind of debuffs you get at the start. So this fight is actually like this for the rest of 6 minutes or so. Like this is just rinse and repeat for everything else. You can see me there actually blinking into the ad by accident and then panicking. These things can happen. I didn't actually spawn extra ads. Just look out for the ads. You also have to soak the spores so you can see the druid there going. Avoid the swirly things on the ground. That's the best advice I can give it to you at the moment. Try to DPS as much as possible. Again, you get the plasma sphere spawning. You get the first tick. Make sure Wild Growth rejuvenates some people, and keep track of your mana. Again, the second one, and then there's going to be a third explosion very soon. So it's all predictable. I have Wild Growth up here, so I'm probably going to Wild Growth right after it. It should happen right now, and I'm Wild Growing, and then I get a proc for 2 rejuvenations. So it's all very predictable. And now there should be control chaos spawns. There's 1 tick of damage, then there is 2nd tick of damage followed now. Wild growing again. So and I also have my innovate available, so I don't innovate here. I could have innovated for that, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to innovate for the plasma sphere phase. So it is a very long fight, so I should be innovating somewhere along here. I'm innovating now, and I'm placing rejuvenations on as many people as I can, as well as a wild growth, and always making sure my mushroom is always up, because I am using spring blossoms. If you are using tranquility, my tranquility is actually up, but I'm pretty sure I might have to save it for later on. No, I actually use it here, but my tranquility will be up for the very end phase. It depends on how you handle the third phase, on how you handle the third boss. But here, if you have inner peace, you'll be able to use tranquility every second plasma sphere that spawns. So that's it actually lines up perfectly as well. So it's actually, inner peace is definitely a good choice to use as well. It's not only spring blossoms. As you can see, the damage is always the same. You get the plasma sphere again. There's a lot of spores on the ground. Someone should use immunities and soak them. Again, you get the first stick, you'll get the second one soon, followed by the third one. And I'm trying to wild growth every time it's up. Actually, you can see me trying to do that, and I actually place rejuvenations before the damage is coming in, if my mana allows for it. This is all about controlling your mana. You can use your Tel'arn potion when you kill Arcanist. Arcanist is our second boss. After you kill Arcanist, you can actually use Tel'arn right afterwards. You can see here control chaos spawning again with the 2 ticks. It can get quite hectic at times, especially if the spores are not cleared. Again, solar collapse. If I get caught in solar collapse, you always have Displacer Beast to get out of it, and don't be afraid to actually use it, because it can kill you. So this is the last phase. I'm actually should be using Tel'arn potion very quickly, because there is no damage here. You can see me going Tel'arn thing. I am a little bit low on mana. I have about 500k. It depends on how you handle this boss, but every time you get Call of the Night here, we actually you can see there are 2 people running. We actually sacrifice the people, because it just causes a lot of issues by not sacrificing them, and we just couldn't do it. So we actually, it's really random, but if you get it, you're basically dead, and maybe we'll reverse you, maybe not, we won't. Some guilds do it differently. We just did it this way. Another thing is that the tank has a debuff, and you have to make sure not to dispel it. It is a dispellable debuff, but if you dispel it, you can see a Guardian Druid has it, but if you dispel it, it'll basically wipe the raid. So the tactic here is, you can either try, if you have a really good tank, if you have a Guardian Druid, Brewmaster Monk, you can try and just basically do not move the boss from its location. The debuff that the tank has does massive damage, increasing over time. So you can see I have Innovate, and I should be using it now. This is my third Innovate. The dot deals massive amounts of damage. So if you don't have a Guardian Druid or a Mistweaver or a Brewmaster Monk, it's most likely that the tank will die. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and I tried, the tank will die. Yeah, you can see my tranquility is actually back up, and I think the tank is going to die soon. If you can do a swap where you bring the boss over to the other side, but that is literally the hardest part of the fight, doing the swap. We're trying to solo tank this. We're not trying to move it, but the tank damage is, you can see, it's getting really heavy right now. And it's basically, this is the hardest part. You can see the tank dies. There's Call of the Night. There's loads of AoE damage. I'm tranking. This is really good to use your mobility cooldowns here. This is the reason you save your trank for. You save your any cooldowns that you're able to cast on movement. And you have to move, and then you have to tank the boss again, and the current tank gets a debuff. Make sure you don't dispel it. You always get the plasma spheres. Sometimes it actually bugs out and you actually don't get it, but it's really manageable AoE. It's really not hard to do. The AoE is not big. It's mainly keeping the tank up. That's the hardest part of the fight. Coincidentally, Mistweaver Monk Revival will remove the debuff, and it will wipe the raid, so don't be a Mistweaver for this fight. But this is the video. I hope the new style maybe helped you a bit more. Please leave a comment below telling me what you think about the commentary, and I hope this helped a bit, and I'll see you in my next video.